It's the Bush League Mud Show.
It's the Bush League Mud Show. Let's go.
Are you ready?
Make some noise!
Yo. What's going on? It is time for another edition. It's the Bush League Mud Show. Slade PJ. Boy, did it feel good. Actually, a full week of your top national broadcast wrestling shows having fans in the stands. Who would have thought that? Yeah. Well, of course, we knew fans are the backbone of professional wrestling. Without them, the product, which, give or take how you want to criticize it over the last several years, I mean, you take it even more what some would say is a dull product, and you really make it dull without the presence of a live crowd.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, that's what it is. We love to pop and love to cheer. We love to boo the heels and have a good time. And it was finally, instead of the contrived TV screens, the pitched-in boos, the forced who you're supposed to cheer for from WWE Creative, it was finally great to hear our voices on the broadcast. I mean, they still, I believe they were still, they were tuning in a little bit.
Make no mistake, if people think that the end of the Thunderdome was the end of piped-in crowd noise, you're shitting yourselves.
Yes.
Because they were doing it before the Thunderdome. They're damn sure going to continue to do it, being that we get some live crowd, especially if you're in a place where the live crowd may not be feeling what they have there on site. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to pipe in some crowd noise. They did it all the time with SmackDown when that was pre-recorded.
Yes.
I don't see why they can't do it with live TV. I'm not for it. I'm all for natural, organic reactions from the crowd, but yeah, make no mistake. They didn't record all. It's in the can. All the audio is in the can, and it's there to use. It's there at their disposal, and kind of lost my my train of thought there talking wrestling. But anyways, it'll probably end up coming back around to me. But the way the week started, before any of the shows came on TV, there was some unfortunate news in the pro wrestling world earlier that day with the passing of a legend.
Yes.
One of the first four men to main event the first ever WrestleMania, pro wrestling legend Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful.
Yes.
He passed away on Monday at the age of 71. He had been living what was said to be in a medical facility while battling dementia. There was some talk the last couple of weeks about his condition. We didn't, it was the first time I had heard about his condition maybe not being the best, and then all of a sudden just kind of took a turn for the worse, or it pretty much did.
Yeah.
The news of the death was announced by his son Travis, who also included details regarding a donation page for funeral expenses that can now be reached if you go on the Instagram post in which he shared the news about the passing of his father. Orndorff, this was something I honestly did not know, and I feel kind of ashamed because I'm always usually pretty good with the background of professional wrestlers, but I'm listening to an interview that Jim Ross is doing a day or two ago, and that's how I found out that Paul Orndorff was a pretty damn good college football running back.
And of course, JR would know that.
And JR of all people who, running back, University of Tampa. He had failed to pass physicals when he tried out for different NFL teams. And once he got to the pros, it was said that he was, as JR put it, he was going to be used more as a blocking fullback, but the failed physicals turned him into a different direction. He ended up playing one season in the World Football League that was like short-lived back in the 70s.
Okay. And
then he started his pro wrestling career around 1976. He had a run in several different territories, and I believe how JR recalled his recollection of meeting Orndorff was, I think it was through Mid-South Wrestling. I think he was recruited and signed, I want to say, by Bill Watts and Jim Ross and that whole crew in Mid-South. So he worked different territories, won some secondary championships, was never really the world champ on any level of these promotions, but he did win some titles. Had multiple runs with the NWA National Heavyweight title. And then he ended up signing with WWF in 1983. He was given the Mr. Wonderful nickname from Vince McMahon.
Yep.
And he was eventually managed by Roddy Piper. in which that association with Piper, that landed Orndorff in the main event of the very first WrestleMania, with the pair teaming up against Hulk Hogan and Hot at that time with the success of the A-Team, Mr. T.
Mr. T, yes.
Yeah. Shortly after WrestleMania, Orndorff, then he turned babyface, and he began working alongside Hogan before eventually turning heel.
Well, of course.
Because when you got a name like Mr. Wonderful,
yes.
There's nothing good guy about that at all.
No.
Mr. Wonderful. And now it has come back to my attention that I should promote the show. Like and subscribe and listen to us wherever. That's what I was trying to. I was like, wait a second. There's something that I'm leaving out there. But yes, like and subscribe. Listen to us wherever you can listen to your favorite podcasts. We're here in the dungeon. Disney Core Studios. Shout out to them. Producer Nate, who I'm sitting at his table right now. He's got I see what we got. We got some bottles. There's a little bit of a party going on here last night.
And you got some cane lighting going on right now. If you raise your arms up, and flames are going to be shooting out of there.
Well, I'm trying to.
I think he got rid of the shot glasses. I had some shot glasses, and I was actually really feeling it, even though we're not on video. I was like, this feels like I'm at a
wait for video,
bar.
kids. Wait for video, kids. It's gonna
now we got the JC over there.
Yes, we do.
The Johnny Cuervo. All right. We digressed a little bit too much. But yes, shout outs to producer Nate, Disney Course Studios in the dungeon where we're recording. As far as with Orndorff turning on Hogan, that eventually led to a big match in Toronto. The big event that drew a little bit more north of, no pun intended, being they were in Toronto, 75,000 fans. And they also ended up having a blow-off. Imagine that, a blow-off.
Imagine
which it
that.
was a blow-off.
Yeah.
Steel cage match on Saturday night's main event that brought their feud to the close. Career was never really the same after there was talks that Orndorff had neck issues going into the WrestleMania match. And he did not want to miss out on that because that was going to be a huge payday.
And I've heard others talk about, too, he's actually had like that tricholitis kind of issue maybe since the early 80s before even getting to New York is maybe some of the issues that he had.
Yeah. He left Vince in New York and worked several different promotions. Never really was the same guy after that.
No.
He continued to wrestle, though, and he ended up working behind the scenes. He became an agent in WCW where that was, I remember watching that match vividly on Nitro when he got hurt and he was just like laying down flat in the middle of the ring and he couldn't move.
Yeah, that was scary.
He couldn't move. And that was a match, honestly. I mean, he looked great physically. Yeah. He couldn't move like he used to or anything like that. And he was very noticeably Father Time had caught up to him, but it was I want to say it was a 6-man tag that he was involved in, and he had hit a couple of pile drivers in that match, and that last one that he attempted ended up being, unfortunately, his last one. He landed, and he couldn't get back up, and they had to, in the middle of the match, they had to call an abrupt ending to it. And they had to pen him and end the match. But, they hauled him off, and it was really sad to watch. But he did in 2005. He ended up being inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame and made a few appearances in WWE after that, including he was at WrestleMania 30. So condolences to the family of Paul Orndorff and not just the family, but friends and all the fans in the pro wrestling world who really liked Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. I'll tell you, he was a guy that it took for me to really grow up and like look at what he brought, the substance to the game that he brought, to really appreciate him more. And what got me to really appreciate Paul Orndorff even more is the heel that he was, is one of my favorite heel vignette / promo type videos ever. And it's Paul Orndorff. You can pull this up on YouTube.
Yes.
And it's Paul Orndorff in a gym with about a half a dozen average looking people.
Yes.
And he's just absolutely drilling and grilling these people because of the way that they look.
Yeah.
And they need to get some work in the gym.
Yes.
And if they ever want to look like Mr. Wonderful, which, in his words, it will never happen. You're setting your bar too high. No matter how hard you try, you'll never look as wonderful as I do.
And what I love, too, in that is the people are trying to do the exercise. No. Let me show you how it's done.
Yes.
And then he's
absolutely
lifting the bar. You gotta go like this.
Every single person. He says, you look like you eat too much. You look like you don't eat enough. You look like you need this and that, and everybody needs something. That's why we're here. So he's just absolutely. And you watch this, and you're like, my gosh, the way he's berating some of the people, and there's a particular heavyset gal in this video, and look, it's funny, it's entertaining, and she plays along with it. She plays her role, and he does a great job getting heat. You couldn't do that today without someone raising their hand and having an objection to it.
That would get canceled quick.
And that is why, you look at the pro wrestling world now, it's got to be so tough. Yes, they say anyone, it's easier to be the bad person than the good heavenly spirit.
Yes.
Like it's a lot harder to be a baby face, to be a good guy than it is to be a heel. Heel, you just do dirty, despicable things without any type of conscience behind it. You just do whatever. But it's like, are there people who don't want to be a heel for the reason they can't go all out and do that kind of stuff that you see Paul Orndorff do in this YouTube video? Stuff that, they were going balls to the wall back in the day. The ideal of offending you, it's like, great, that was the point. I'm trying to offend you so you can spend money on tickets to come and watch me get my ass whipped.
Yes.
We're trying to draw money.
Exactly.
It's good versus evil, and I'm the evil, and I'm trying to piss you off enough where you will come to watch me get what's coming to me.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. You cannot do any of that anymore. They always would play off the stereotypes. with Tito Santana, was it Ventura or Heenan would always say, "Oh, here comes the flying taco." I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" Just watching back to it now, gosh, there's no way you could get away with just that.
WWE signed the network deal, and we talked about this several episodes back when the deal was struck that they had the licensing agreement now with NBC Universal with the Peacock Network, and Peacock immediately started scrubbing through the library of things that went down 30, 40 years ago that at the time was the norm.
Yeah.
That was, Roddy Piper in a feud with Bad News Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Painting half his face black. That was, there was some really, so... Yeah, the Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, this is pure gold whenever you get a chance. If you have not seen this, I tried to post it on Twitter, and that was a day that Monday actually, Twitter was having some issues with video playback throughout the entire community of Twitter. So I couldn't really, I could upload it, but you couldn't play it. But if you ever get a chance, go on YouTube and check that out. That's some of the greatest heel work, I think, ever. And it fit him so perfectly. Such a gym rat. Yeah. He looked great. And he's just being the most devious personal trainer ever. Like, you would never pay this guy to ever train you. Like, one day and you wouldn't come back. That's basically what this video is.
And I think that helped launch, maybe in McMahon's mind, we can have another person like this a couple years later with Mr. Perfect.
Yes.
Another heel that I loved. And I think they drew a little inspiration from what they saw. Yeah, we kind of want some of this Mr. Wonderful thing, but we want you to be perfect. At it led into another. It was basically the offspring of another fantastic heel.
Very arrogant, condescending type heel. A guy that no matter what, you can try your best, you'll never be this person. They did a great job with Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, with the whole, filming him hitting half-court shots and doing everything imaginable.
Don't forget about that touchdown pass to the Vikings.
To himself.
Yep.
To himself, right?
Yep. Steve Jordan watched that. Yep. From one end zone to the other, 100-yard touchdown pass. No one ever in the history of anything has done that.
So here we go. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. WWE SmackDown. I'm going to tell you right now, this episode, we are not going to run down the worst wrestling show on TV. we're not going to waste our time with Monday Night Raw, but we will talk about the electrifying WWE SmackDown in Houston. It's their first time in front of a live crowd since the pandemic hit, and this started out with a bang, sort of.
It did.
They did the automatic. They knew that this was, as I like to call it, it was a cheap pop. Because no matter what, Vince McMahon is still considered probably the greatest heel in his own company's history.
Yes.
But he still gets an ovation.
We love him. We want to see him.
He comes
we
out.
want to see him.
And he is the less is more approach. So we really don't see him as much now. He's getting up there in age, and it appears that he doesn't really care to be in front of the camera really too much anymore. Yeah. He's all about being back in Gorilla and being on quarterly earnings calls and stuff like that. So SmackDown comes on, and what's the first thing we get? Well, first off, you see the new landscape, you see the new setup, and they didn't really do too much. It's just a
I do kind of like it a little bit.
I really like it. A bigger screen, bigger Titantron, and it looks like the way that it looks like a massive entrance where they're walking out on.
Yeah, and there's no more huge up ramp thing. It's kind of like level. Yeah, I kind of liked it. A little refreshing look.
I really like that. And so you get the crowd there, and all of a sudden, boom. No Chance in Hell pops on. There's the Mr. McMahon graphic, and the crowd goes absolutely ape shit over this. And he comes out. The crowd loves it. He has a mic, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, he's not walking down to the ring, though.
Nope.
So I'm thinking, is this where Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman come out and steal the thunder and just immediately turn those massive cheers into boos? Well, no. Vince stays there with the microphone. And all he says to the crowd, where the hell have you been?
Where the hell have you been? And he turns
around and walks off. What the fuck?
I think
people loved it. People loved it. The reaction online was, a lot of people said, including myself,
what the hell was that? But it was great.
No, well, a lot of us said, you know what? If anyone's going to, start back a live TV show in front of the crowd for WWE, who better than Vince McMahon?
Yeah, he's got to make an appearance because, he is the owner of the guy.
He came in and he did his PPM style intro.
Yes.
That's radio terminology for you radio heads out there. But he kept it real short, simple, to the point.
He did do the strut. He did the, did the walk.
Absolutely.
The grapefruit walk. So he got that out.
So yes, the crowd was very much into that. It was great. And then we immediately got into our match, which I thought was going to be the main event. No, they kicked it off right.
Yeah,
they wanted to keep your eyes on the product. Yeah. And it was easy to do because of the fact that there's just pro wrestling, when you've got a live crowd, there's nothing like it. And I think what the pandemic has taught is to appreciate it even more when you got a live crowd there. And it was packed. It was person on person. Hopefully everyone was vaccinated or I didn't see any masks in the crowd. I'll tell you that.
No, not in Houston. No.
I didn't see any of that going on. But they immediately gave us the match, the 6-man tag of Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Edge and the Mysterios. And the very first person to come out for that is Roman Reigns.
Your champion,
They popped.
Yes, they did.
They immediately popped for him. Why? Well, because this guy hasn't been. Now, we're not going to count WrestleMania. No. That was a little different. That was an outdoor stadium, and that was something that. But here in the arena, huge pop for Roman. And then immediately they finally realized, wait a second. This guy's a despicable asshole now.
Yeah, then they booed. Then eventually, I was waiting for it because I'm like, okay, he's getting the cool heel cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, so he might not be all the way. They might not with him, but then, like that, they flipped it.
Yeah, they flipped it real quick. So it's like, organic crowd.
Yes.
Okay, great. They're doing what they're supposed to
Yeah.
do. And then you had the Mysterios come out. They came out to a pretty good ovation. And then, my goodness.
Well, they made a good point, too, on the broadcast. This was Dominic Mysterio's first match in front of a live crowd. I forgot all about that.
I feel like,
It's like a year and a
Dominic
half.
has already been
Yeah.
I feel like he's already been there 10 years.
I know.
Yeah, his first match in front of a live crowd. And Ray always gets cheered no matter where they go. But my goodness, dude, you would have thought that we were watching Mania on Friday night
Yes.
with Edge coming out.
Yes,
My
that was
goodness.
huge.
That was huge.
Well, you got to remember the Edge, too. I mean, his last pop was that Rumble, I think. I mean, was he doing anything in February of last? I mean, he won the Rumble.
Well, he got beat up by Orton. That was the night
that's
after the
right.
Rumble.
Yes, and then all that happened.
Couple of appearances,
but then
then we get an empty arena Mania with he and Orton.
yeah, because that's right. They went away, and then he went away for that month and a half. So yeah, he only had a couple appearances, and that was it.
So this is the start of the go home edition of SmackDown before we get into Money in the Bank. So these two teams, they go at it, and it was pretty much a great job, I thought, of limiting Roman's involvement in this match, having his cousins be his henchmen and do a lot of the damage and the dirty work for him. They beat up on Dominic quite a bit.
Yes, they did.
Roman finally got his hands on Dominic. He gave him a little bit of the beat down.
Yep.
Power bombed him into a table, that didn't break. I thought it would have been cool if it would have broke, but hey, it's whatever. The Usos, they have an upper hand at one point, and then of course, WWE had to go and screw this all up by being WWE. Uso gets distracted, and Ray sneaks in to do the most punishing maneuver in all of the company. A roll-up for the 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
They couldn't help it.
They couldn't.
They
we're
couldn't
still continuing the most deadly move of the pandemic era.
We need to get up a stat of how many roll-up wins they've had in the company so far this year between Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
We definitely need to
have to get on that.
After the match, the Usos and Reigns, they end up attacking the Mysterios, and then eventually, now this is what I didn't want to see. I didn't really want to see Reigns and Edge touch one another.
Yeah. But I can understand why they're doing it, because it sounds like, from, what we're hearing of SummerSlam, you got to make Edge powerful and look really strong, and they have the last couple weeks. So in that case, I could see that.
And we already know going into this is going to be an immediate blow off. There will not be any rematches anytime soon. We'll jump into that here in a little bit. But yeah, so you've got Edge and Reigns. They go at it a little bit. And then Reigns gets the upper hand. He's already got Edge on the ground. He grabs the bottom bar of the steel chair. Reigns gets distracted. Edge then connects with a spear. Locks in another crossface with the bar now on Reigns. So 3 straight weeks he's gotten the 2 twin brothers, and now he gets Reigns.
And I like
Makes
this.
Reigns taps.
Yeah. See, I like the bar of the chair because, kendo sticks was the new weapon of choice. At least this is something original.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he did it at Mania too, but I mean, it's something original at least.
Reigns taps, and Edge grabs the Universal Championship belt and hoists it in the air for a nice little visual before we go into commercial. Also good for B-roll to promote the match at Money in the Bank tomorrow. Then we get into a backstage interview after the match. Kayla Braxton, she catches up with Edge, who says that he's going to have to go to places that he hasn't gone to before in order to defeat Reigns on Sunday. And as we are listening to him talk, we get that obnoxious cackle in the background. The camera pans on over, and it is Seth Rollins who comes over and laughs at Edge and said that he wants to see the Rated R Superstar defeat Reigns on Sunday. So then he can cash in on the guy that made the Money in the Bank match famous. So there you go. We're already dropping breadcrumbs of what one SummerSlam match will be. So as we get into the rest of the SmackDown review, I'll tell you why. We also had, what do we have? We had Sami Zayn.
Yes.
He comes out, cuts a promo.
And surprise, we haven't seen this guy in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so Sami Zayn, he comes out and he cuts a promo and he states that there has been a conspiracy to keep him out of the men's Money in the Bank match. And Zayn attempts to pretty much hijack the show, and he's talking to the fans. He's saying the fans need to make their voices heard and get him in the match. And he's talking his ish out there. And all of a sudden, we get some music, and we get a Titantron video up there of Finn Balor, who is back. We haven't seen Finn in how long on NXT?
It's been about a month.
Probably been about a good 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, they've kept him off pretty good after when he was in the championship scene and all that.
Yeah, Finn Balor. He comes out to a nice ovation. You know, he is someone that hopefully, you know, I don't want to put the expectations high for Finn Balor, but there was originally high expectations for him. People forget this is the very first Universal Champion.
Yes, he is.
Who never officially ever got his rematch.
He could not, no.
He
After
got
the
hurt.
injury, they didn't ever get him to that level again.
Yeah. Zayn tries to attack Balor. Balor saw it coming. He ends up taking down Zayn and hits the coup de grace off the top rope, and there you go. We then also have a segment in the back. We get Otis and Gable. I'm really liking this Academy stuff, dude.
It's starting to, I mean, the Gable can be a pretty damn good annoying heel. He really can.
I like it. They fit each other well.
Yeah.
And that was a big problem once American Alpha, once that unfortunately had to end. You know, Jason Jordan with the neck injury. And Gable, you know, people like Chad Gable.
Yes.
And his accolades outside of professional wrestling, it's noted, is in terms of him being an amateur wrestler and being a part of the, was he an alternate on the Olympic team?
Believe so. Yes, he was.
So this is a guy, he's a
legit
athlete.
Yeah.
And you've got another guy who's also a legit athlete, as big as he is, in Otis. It's a nice pairing. I said, though, the way that they have Otis currently, being this mean badass,
clean shaven,
which usually guys turn heel and they grow beards.
Yes.
Otis decided, I'm going to reverse that trend.
Yep.
I said, why couldn't they have done this with Mandy Rose?
Yeah,
they put
you
them
were
together.
Right. Yes.
I just felt that you put them together last year. They had one of the best feel-good moments of the year. I thought with a live crowd, they probably would have easily had one of the biggest pops of the night with Mandy and Otis kissing.
Yes, they would have at Mania, yeah.
Otis wins Money in the Bank. He's riding high. And then they couldn't wait to just completely tear that thing up by SummerSlam with Mandy gets drafted to Raw. They also split up the tag team.
Yes, they did.
Tucker ends up turning on Otis.
Yes.
It made Otis look weak and vulnerable. He doesn't have his tag team partner anymore. He ain't got his girl anymore. But the heel turn, I said, look, at the end of the day, Mandy Rose throughout her entire tenure, for the most part, has been a heel.
Yes.
She didn't become a babyface until Sonya Deville turned on her.
Yes.
But Mandy's really a heel. How about we have it where Otis is with the gorgeous girl and her influence is what turns him heel and becomes this asshole badass. Now you've got a potential Lana Rusev from the beginning stages there again, where now we can look at Otis and say, okay, this is a guy that doesn't need Money in the Bank. This guy, you could give him a title shot. He might be able to just win the damn thing clean.
Yes.
Like, I get Mark Henry type vibes with this Otis, with this particular Otis.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing it pretty good right now. And if they hopefully continue with this, they don't scrap it. I think, you could get a good run out of this.
So they're in the back, and Gable is, praising the Academy, praising Otis, and Cesaro jumps in after Gable and is talking about, who all they plan on running through and who they've ran through so far. Cesaro makes a comment. They punch Cesaro, take him down, at least Otis does, and all of a sudden we just set up a match like that. That's how matches are set up.
Here we go.
There you go. They then sign off on anything, whatever. Just get out there and just settle in the ring.
Yep.
Anyways, we get this match started. Cesaro, he comes out, and Gable and Otis, they come out first. Then Cesaro. In this match, not even 60 seconds into it, Gable immediately starts to attack Cesaro. And then
Yeah,
Otis
that's right,
also
yeah.
takes
Yes.
advantage. So
Yeah.
this match ends up via DQ. Cesaro, he was able to lock in the swing, and he
Which
swung
the
Gable.
crowd popped huge for.
They
They
love the
the swing.
Yeah, so he's swinging Gable around several times before Otis jumps in after DQ, and then Otis gets his heat on Cesaro with the splash off the top rope.
Which is a good finishing maneuver. I know he went from the worm thing and all that. And what did he have? Like a power slam or something like that before? I like this. I mean,
He's borrowed elements of different
Yes.
people. He's got the world's strongest slam
Yes.
in there. He's got the
kind of a Yoko.
the Yoko Vader.
I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, Vader. Yes.
Yeah, so he's got that going on too. So he's I think Otis is looking good right now, and I think eventually these are gonna be legit tag team champs now. I don't know what that really says, being the tag team division is what it is now in the company, but without a doubt, these guys will probably get a run with the tag belts at some point. Then we end up getting Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox. They come out in the tank, and this kind of the reaction initially as they come out with the tank was okay, and then it started to die out quickly,
Very quick.
and then she shoots out a t-shirt to the crowd, which goes way up damn near to the nosebleeds.
Yes.
And my thing to you was, why didn't we have Shotzi? Screw it. This is the first live TV event, and you could quickly get it off. Just tell her, just drive the tank down quick and do it. But you could have shot off about 3 or 4 of those t-shirts to the crowd.
Yes, that's how they should have done it. But
That gets a pop.
no.
Have you ever gone to a professional sporting event in which they shot t-shirts into a crowd and they booed? It's never fucking happened. It's never happened.
Never.
So,
Yeah, I know. I mean,
what do you think the t-shirt was? Was it a Shotzi t-shirt, you
It
think?
had to be. If they've got that already on the merch store, WWE, the connection there, her and Tegan, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, the tank. People thought that might be over. I don't. It took a while for people to leak. Oh yeah, they're coming down on a fucking tank.
Well, it looks like. I mean, she's got a remote control on the inside of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Really, being I can. It looks like it can be done on TV, but I don't know like the logistics if you're actually there. But I don't know. Does she need to drive it all the way down and drive it around, kind of like how they do the motorcycles, or do you think just bring the tank out and just leave it where it is and just I don't know, like
Just that visual. That's why I'm laughing, because we go from badass motorcycle biker gangs that we used to have in the Attitude Era going around the strings of this goddamn tank that looks like it was.
tank is not over with you.
No, it's not, because my kids could drive the damn thing. It looks like a fucking Hot Wheel.
It's Power Wheel.
Power Wheel, Hot Wheel, whatever the hell
Power
it is.
Wheels. It's the Bush League Mud Show. Slade PJ talking some SmackDown stuff. Anyway, Shotzi and Tegan Nox, they come down because they get a match against the tag team champs of Natalya and Tamina. This is a match in which now they earned a shot at the champs. This is a non-title, by the way.
Yeah, and talk about how they quickly got into the title picture, because we split up the other two that were going for the title like very abruptly with the Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke. Where the hell did they go pairing?
So this is a match in which if they defeated the tag team champs, then they get a shot at the belts. Nox rolls up Natalya. We get a little later in the match. Natalya, she goes for the sharpshooter. She gets distracted by the outside of what's going on out there, because we get Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega, who have nothing really to do with this match. They're not a team together at all.
But we got to have them on commentary,
But we
damn
gotta
it.
have them down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Natalya gets distracted by Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega fighting on the outside, which allows Nox to...
McAfee had another golden line during their exchange before they got into it. As they were like going at each other's throats. And all of a sudden they take off the headsets and McAfee's like, oh, I thought we were having impressions. He just went like that, and I just lost it. I'm like, and then they went into throwing down against each other.
Yeah, so we got those two Money in the Bank match participants on the outside, and it tied into the fact that both Natalya and Tamina are both also going to be a part of the Money in the Bank match tomorrow.
Yeah.
Knox rolls up Natalya, so there you go. Shotzi, Blackheart, and Tegan Knox will get their tag team title shot at some point.
I got to ask you.
Yes.
Are you getting an Iconics vibe from these two? Even though they can work better in the ring than them two, just the way they are shooting them up really quick, I'm getting kind of an Iconics redo vibe from them, how they are just right there already in the title picture.
You know what I got out of this match? I didn't want to read too much into it. I looked at it as we've gone through some roster changes. We've gone through some unfortunate cuts over the last several months, with it definitely affecting an already thinning women's division.
Mm-hmm.
They've got NXT call-ups up. I'm just glad they got a win. I'm glad this wasn't a match where we've got, we got to shake up the roster, pal, and we're calling up all the people from NXT just to beat them on national TV. Yeah. So I'm just glad that they didn't make them look weak and shoot them already dead on arrival.
Yeah.
I really didn't care about this match.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me just take something good out of it and let me just move on with my life. That was pretty much what I got out of this.
I mean, we always know the calling card, unfortunately, with Natalie and Tamina is to help everyone else get over. They usually, in the past, now that they have this championship run, I don't know how long they're going to let them have that run now that they have the newcomers up and ready to go.
And I don't see that being a long tag team title reign for Natalya and Tamina anyways, because I think what you're going to see at the Money in the Bank match is there's going to be a part of that match where they're going to have to be selfish and undermine and undercut the other, which will lead to some issues down the road, which will get them to relinquish the titles to whoever. And I don't know. Do we really care who's the tag champs in the women's division or any division, the men or the women? I mean, you've got two sets.
Unfortunately, they haven't made it worth value. So
you've got two sets of tag belts for the men's. You've got a set for the women. You don't have very many women's tag teams to begin with because you're not taking it seriously. You're just doing makeshift teams. I
guess.
Know. Bianca Belair. We see her backstage. She's walking out. And then we just randomly see Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode make comments to her.
Yeah.
She just ignores it and just keeps walking. I'm sitting there and I'm like, is this also probably how Dolph feels whenever he's trying to bring creative ideas to Vince? Like Vince just keeps walking.
Just keeps walking by. That's probably what it was.
Bianca, and maybe I'm a little bit out of order here. I got my order is a little mixed up in terms of the order of the show, but this was all to set up Bianca Belair. She was going to be facing Carmella in a title match since Becky Lynch, or not Becky Lynch, my apologies, Bayley had been reported to have injured what is now more and more said to be a torn ACL. She's going to be out 9 months. Yeah, Carmella was shot up to get a shot to be the replacement on national TV, and Liv Morgan was taking her spot in the Money in the Bank match. This match here was, Carmella. We go a little bit later into the match. Carmella, she has Belair on the mat, used Belair's hair braid against her. But once Belair gets free, she whipped Carmella with the braid, nailed the KOD, which got a great reaction from the crowd. Even though it's her hair, how does she get away with the fact that she could just whip people's ass with her hair? I think it's great. Reminds me of is it Sheena from Mortal Kombat?
Yes. You can whip that. Grab him by the neck.
Love it.
I mean, it's part of her body, so she can use it. So, and I tell you what, she got one of the pops of the night coming out.
Was it Luger's metal forearm? Wasn't that considered to be illegal though? That's a part of him.
Well, because it was metal. It was surgery from that motorcycle accident.
It wasn't organically inherited.
It wasn't organically, yes. So they had to ban it after the mysterious run on Superstars while the guys were just getting knocked out in the ring. But it was great to have the crowd reaction for her, for Belair. And again, her strength, she is just a fucking beast. I mean, when she did that vertical suplex when she was in the triangle chokehold, just holding Carmella up that whole time. I mean, she held her up for like 2.5 minutes and then went into the suplex. And then, it got into the KOD. I mean, just phenomenal athlete. She is awesome.
I'm just looking forward to finally the ideal of the pairing, eventually somewhere down the road, of both her and Montez Ford.
Yes.
As the superior athletic family, if you will.
Well, is that a heel turn then for them down the road?
Oh, they would have to be
heels.
heels.
Yes.
They would have to be built as the supreme athletes. We've never had a couple like that before.
Yeah.
Where the female is just as equally, if not more, athletic than the male.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. We get backstage. We get Paul Heyman, who did not appreciate the way that Kayla Braxton apparently knocked on his door.
Yes.
He said she was a little aggressive
with that knock.
They've developed pretty good chemistry, clearly, through talking smack together for as long as they have. Heyman is in the middle of his promo, and he's talking about Reigns once again going to prevail at Money in the Bank with the title. And out of the corner of the camera angle, we get Big E, who comes in and says that he will be victorious at Money in the Bank, and tells Paul Heyman that he is not afraid of the tribal chief, and he will be coming after him as soon as he wins the Money in the Bank. Fast forward, we go out to the main stage. We get Baron Corbin, who they have done a really good job of getting me to get sympathy on this guy.
Yes,
This guy, he's damn near lost everything.
Yep.
His wife's about to leave him. He lost his crown, and he lost everything that went with it. Mm-hmm. He's gotten his Jeep towed.
His kids have got to eat.
Kids got to eat.
SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
Spaghetti out of a can. No more.
Comes out. He's let the hair grow out so you can see the receding hairline. I mean, the guy looks a wreck. He's out there, and of course, the crowd. I mean, come on, we've got.
You had to let the cleaning maid go now.
Yes.
The house is going to hell. It's getting foreclosed. Yeah.
Yes, he's the king. He's lost everything that's gone with a gimmick that was dead over 10 years ago. But apparently, Baron Corbin made it work and was getting financial freedom due to being the king. So it pays to be king, but he's lost that after Nakamura now has his crown. Anyways, he comes out to the ring. He gets booed by the crowd, and he's begging, he's pleading. He gets down on his knees. And then what got me to pop, what got everybody to pop, they've created a GoFundMe page for him.
Corbin
and you
Fund.
looked it up. This is a legit site.
Yes.
You can't donate, but it is a legit site.
I had to. Once he kept mentioning it, I'm like, okay, I got to check to see if they did their homework on this.
How many web hits do you think they got on that?
I'm sure they did a lot. Yeah, all they did was
people
just.
wanted to know. It's this bullshit. What happened?
And I noticed on the tab it is WWE, but it's just the picture of what they posted on the Titantron for Corbin Fund. So the Corbin Fund Me, that's what it was. It was fantastic.
So the Mudholes should, your fans should go to that GoFundMe page so we can buy SpaghettiOs. Is that what you're?
No, he wants to raise $100,000. That will get him back out of the debt.
$100,000 will get you a lot of SpaghettiOs.
I don't think he wants SpaghettiOs. He wants to get that house.
So they've spent this time making this guy look so poor and sympathetic, and I've gotten soft for him a little bit. I'm liking where they're going.
Yep.
And then he immediately lets you know he's still Baron Corbin. He's still a heel. He's begging for money, begging for change. Basically says, hey, man, I want you all to dig deep in your pockets and help give me whatever you can. And if not, well, basically, you're a cheap piece of shit.
Yes, you are.
That's basically what came out of this promo.
Yeah.
That's what came out of this.
Yeah. And then when the Owens music hit, Kevin Owens comes down to the ring. He used a fantastic line, too. He's like, I can tell you've saved some money just from what you're wearing.
Your wardrobe. You don't go out, you don't buy any clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's when Owens hits him with the stunner. That gets a nice little pop from the crowd.
Yeah.
All right. We continue. Our main event for the night. We end up getting a match, a four-way of some of the participants for the Money in the Bank for the men's side of it. Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Big E, and Seth Rollins, or no, my apology. That was
Nakamura.
Big
E, yeah.
apologies.
Nakamura, Big E. We had Rollins and Owens.
I don't know why my notes here, I put Seth Rollins down twice. Anyways, this match was actually pretty damn good main event. And you're like, okay, now, I guess you could have went either way. You could have put this match first, or you could have did what they did and said, hey, we're going to get our hottest thing right now in Roman Reigns and have him go out first and continue to carry that crowd.
Well, with the live crowd, and waiting for him.
Honestly, if you do this match, this four-way match, if you did it first, then the show would have gone downhill. No disrespect to everything else that happened during the show, but you're on such a high after that first match. It's like, okay,
you
now
see what's coming.
Nothing will match.
Yep.
So this is what you get for a main event. I thought it was a pretty damn good main event. You get Rollins is the winner here.
Yes, he was.
Won by pinfall. He connected with the stomp on Big E. Who was laid out on a ladder.
Yeah, I mean, it was good visual.
Yeah, very good. They shot it perfectly. Shortly before that, Rollins had pinned Big E. Owens, he had nailed an elbow from the top of the ladder. So they were all, they were using the ladder.
That table finally crashed. I guess it was a good thing it didn't when Roman gave Dominic that power bomb, or else they've been searching for an announce table quick.
Yeah, so top of the ladder, he hits that on Nakamura through the announce table. Nakamura and Owens, they're going at it. Rollins hits the stomp, then made his way to the top of the ladder, grabs Money in the Bank briefcase that was suspended above the ring, and posed with it as the show ends, which tells you immediately whenever that happens, that person ain't winning. So this perfectly sets up Seth Rollins and Edge for SummerSlam.
That always drives me nuts.
Because Rollins will not be winning Money in the Bank.
Well, here's the thing. Why the fuck would he give it back? He just got it. You don't need to have the damn match. He just got the damn bank. He just got the. I hate that when they do it before the pay-per-view. It's like, guys, leave it up there.
Here's why. It's number one, the contract is not in the briefcase. This is what you're supposed to think, sir. You're trying to make sense of this.
I mean,
we want to treat you like a 5-year-old. The contract is not in the briefcase, and it wasn't an actual sanctioned Money in the Bank match.
Then get the goddamn briefcase.
It's not need suspended. The visual to continue to remind people what's on the line at the pay-per-view.
I know. We've been to Raws, too, here, that they were leading up to Money in the Bank, and they kept the damn briefcases up for almost every match. And it's like, Money in the Bank's 5 weeks away. I think when we saw it live here, and it's like, we don't need the fucking constant reminder that it's coming. But that's always driven me. They always do that before the pay-per-view. And I'm like, well, they don't need to have the match now because the son of a bitch has got the briefcase.
But the contract's not in the briefcase.
Bullshit. Look at what happened last year.
What happened last year? With Otis?
With Otis. Otis won it, but then it didn't fucking matter because all of a sudden we went to court with the goddamn thing and The Miz had it.
Again, you're making sense. They don't want you to make sense. God. You're supposed to, in the world of WWE, you're supposed to have massive short-term memory.
Yeah, I know. Oh, remember when Dean Ambrose had the fucking slime in there for Rollins? When Rollins did have it legitimately a couple of years ago?
All right.
I mean, that's the... I shouldn't... That just drives me nuts every time. I'm like, well, we don't have to have the match now. The son of a bitch has got the contract. He's got the briefcase.
What we did see at this WWE SmackDown, we saw a few returns besides just Vince McMahon. We got a return from Finn Balor being back on the main roster. There's going to be more of these special attraction returns here in the next couple of weeks, according to reports. There's apparently been an all hands on deck approach with the events coming back to live vans as we get closer to SummerSlam and into the fall. And there's said to be several returns, as I mentioned before, planned even beyond what has been outright reported as of late. There's people within the company who have been advised to make their best pitches over this period. While many of the returns are poorly kept secrets, people have been advised that the rosters will be souped up in the coming weeks. There's been a feeling that WWE decided to save multiple top returns for the return to touring with fans back in the crowd.
That line right there, give your best pitches, tells me creative has absolutely nothing right now, and they have it for months.
And this is awful because you're at a time where you need a massive change up quick because you have a live crowd that will let you know immediately. There is no more masking with empty arena Thunderdome type stuff. There is no more masking with your canned crowd noise and your canned reactions of
or doll attacks in the backstage. You can't do any of that shit anymore.
No more of the additional smoke and mirrors. You have to step your game up now. Yeah. And they have these people on payroll, all these writers, and they're tapped out. You want to know why? Because they don't really know professional wrestling.
No, they don't.
They come from a different world.
Yeah. They think we got to appease this guy. If we make him laugh, he'll like that idea. And that doesn't mean it's a great idea.
And the issue is that he is the final be-all, end-all.
Yes.
So maybe in their head they do have brilliant ideas. They probably run about 40, 50 of them by him, maybe per day, by the week. I don't know. Well, if he's saying no to all that, we got to be better. Well, do you have anything better? Well, of course he doesn't, because he's looking for you to give him. He wants sizzle over steak.
Yes, he does.
He just wants straight sizzle.
Yes.
And it's hard to just consistently produce sizzle. You got to have some steak to get to the sizzle.
He wants that hit. He wants that, that number one hit. He wants that, but then he doesn't think after that. But we want that instant shoot to the top.
Yeah, John Cena rumored to be returning on next Friday's SmackDown to begin the SummerSlam build for the match with Roman Reigns.
Hopefully they took our idea.
Oh, with the rolling?
Yes, hopefully they took our idea, because that would instantly get that.
This is going to be the SmackDown. It's going to be a split, so they're going to have a majority of the show in Cleveland, and then they're doing 2 matches in a simulcast from Rolling Loud in Miami, the Rap Fest. So, yes, our ideal is, hell, you introduce it by having John Cena make an appearance on stage and spit a freestyle.
You're damn right.
And announce that he's going to be at SummerSlam. Yeah. That probably gets them maybe $1.5 million, maybe more.
Maybe more.
The idea of it being Rolling Loud, they're immediately going to get some eyes. They're just going to be curious.
Yes.
What's this going to look like?
Yes.
How are they going to intertwine? You and I said, fuck, they need all the juice they can get right now. This can't be bad.
He comes marching out. Maybe Post Malone's with him on. I mean, he just comes marching out with somebody, and then all of a sudden he just starts ripping into the tribal chief shit and just everything. I mean, and you got Roman on one side, him at Rolling Loud, and you do the dual screen thing. It could be magic.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
So that's on the SmackDown side. On the Raw side, it appears that Goldberg will be the guy
on Raw again.
Well, it has not officially been announced that he's going to be on Raw, but that is, if Cena's rumored to be going at Reigns, it's going to be on SmackDown.
I tell you what,
going on Raw.
Raw is they are just.
Well, how it was
no ideas.
So Goldberg's already been teased. The company has not officially announced this, but it got leaked. On purpose, obviously, that Goldberg's going to be back on WWE programming next week.
And obviously, he'd be then going after Lashley.
Yeah, so according to Fightful Select, Mark Middleton, this is to kick off what is expected to be a SummerSlam angle with Goldberg and Lashley for the WWE Championship.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yep. Now, this is going to be the first Raw in front of live fans.
You made a great point off air, though, too. It's like, you were on this, and your fantastic point is, do we want to see Goldberg get beat again? I mean, this is pretty damn.
So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's
unless
just like
they've negotiated a longer term, because remember, he's already talked about it. He has a deal with the company.
The 2 appearances, and this would be number 2.
This would be 2 because he faced McIntyre back in January.
Yes.
So unless they've worked out a longer term deal, this is a one-off.
So everyone knows.
He's losing.
Yeah, unless he.
And now you just made Lashley look even stronger after the promo that he cut on MVP last week, where this quote, "This bullshit stops now. We got to get more serious." Yeah. Now we've cranked it up a little bit. Like, okay, Lashley had been unstoppable, and he had just absolutely just bullied himself to the title. And he's been defending it.
Yeah.
A little soft over the last couple of weeks, but that's because of the booze, the alcohol, and women, the partying and stuff. But now he's serious again.
Yeah, when we get to our Money in the Bank predictions, I've got one for this.
So you don't beat that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Goldberg, he is signed through 2023. I don't know if they tweaked his contract with the 2 matches per year, but yes, he said that he signed through 2023.
It was at 20. The pandemic screwed everything up, but 2020, because he did Sweet Saudi Money, and he beat Wyatt. He beat the Fiend because he talked to the boss and said, well, the kids got to cheer for the superhero, and Vince bid on the damn thing, because that's what screwed up. Was it going to be Fiend and Reigns at the time?
Or because we were early?
No, because we were like, well, Cena and Fiend, because that's what was kind of mixing it all up, so that he argued his point and said, hey, I should win the championship here. So he wins the championship in Saudi and then loses it to, well, that's the thing. Yeah, he was going to lose it to Reigns, but then Reigns pulled out of the match because of COVID, and then that's when Braun became champion. Mm-hmm. Because, well, Goldberg's not going to have a damn reign. This was match 2 of the year.
That was going to be our spear versus spear match.
Yes.
Even though Reigns is going to be in a spear versus spear match this weekend with Edge.
Yeah.
We got too many damn people doing spears.
Yes, we do.
In pro wrestling.
Yes, we do.
Big guys, small guys.
Yeah.
Men, women.
Yeah, it
don't matter.
Yeah, there's a spear.
Everybody's got a spear.
It's a spear-demic now.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those returns. So, more than just Cena and Goldberg. There's been, obviously, the rumors are going to continue to swirl out there about Lesnar. Yeah. Daniel Bryan still has not officially re-signed with the company. He could be another one that could be brought back in some capacity at some point.
Yeah.
So they are looking to just continue to add more and more pieces to try and draw eyeballs to the product and to try to continue to help sell tickets now that they're on the road and in front of live crowds, which is why a lot of these NXT call-ups have been planned, and more of them are scheduled.
Yes, they are. We've already got vignettes for some of them.
Yes, this is reportedly a result of WWE Chairman Vince McMahon believing there's a need for fresh faces on the main roster. According to Dave Meltzer, after McMahon saw the advanced ticket sales for WWE's return to the road, he decided a lack of new and exciting superstars was preventing the numbers from reaching a higher level. As a result, McMahon was the one who made the decision to call up both Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox last week. So this is, we've got Shotzi and Tegan Nox now. Mm-hmm. Toni Storm, they've already been running hype videos for her debut. Now we get an official, she's going to be on the main roster for next Friday's SmackDown. More call-ups on top of that. There's the Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed. They both worked matches on main event.
But I don't know about Bronson Reed now, because now they're throwing him into an Adam Cole angle at NXT.
Right.
So I don't know.
But, I mean, there are possibilities.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Yes.
With Kross, you'd have to bring Scarlett.
Well,
Scarlett
now
also
Kross
worked the dark match.
They threw a big
with the Samoa Joe stuff.
With the Joe stuff now. So I don't know.
We're rushing to a Joe match, and maybe that's why.
Maybe. Yeah. Then why the hell don't you just bring Joe up? But I understand where Joe might be saying, no, I don't want to fucking deal with that.
Right.
I don't want to stay here.
Right. What to go back up to the main roster and put back on commentary in a month?
Exactly.
No,
yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
I'll stay here.
Yeah.
I'm at a point in my career now where, he's on near the end of his, and he probably just wants to help out.
Yeah.
Help out the younger talent and also be utilized at the same time. Yeah. Who knows what the terms in his deal is? I don't know if he's got a similar deal as what he had before, where he was able to work not just NXT, but work other promotions if he wanted. Maybe he didn't get that kind of a deal this time around, but maybe there was something else that provides a bit more security for Joe. But anyways, I mean, Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed, they can't be out of the picture.
No.
Did we get Scarlett? And was it, I don't remember if Indy Hartwell also got a dark match opportunity as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Davey Boy Smith Jr. was reportedly working a dark match as well earlier this week.
Really?
He was. So I don't know if they're looking to
bring him back to NXT or bring him back to the main roster.
That was not talked about. It was just said he just worked a dark match.
Okay.
Maybe you get
there's
that,
been
maybe
talk
you get that
about
Hart Dynasty back together.
Yeah, there's been talk of getting him back.
Even
into the
though,
company. I mean, it's for him. It's been like a year or two now. I know he was doing some MLW stuff and things like that. So the talk has been out there getting Davey Boy back. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't think they reunite that, but they might do a different angle with it. I mean, the guy's a beast. He really is.
Looks like his pop.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're back on the road full time. First time more than a year. This gives the company a perfect excuse, guess you could say, to make some changes, shake up the rosters.
But the problem, here's the thing.
NXT takes the brunt of this.
They do. And, you already released some of their big names they did develop for you, like Aleister Black and others. You let them go. So hopefully they learn with this recycle that, yes, you're bringing back some other well-known stars like the returns that we've been talking about with Daniel Bryan, Goldberg, and all that. But make sure you develop these people, too, that are showing on that same show so we keep the eyeballs on these people and make them look good.
Yeah.
Or else we're going to be in the same damn cycle for the next couple years.
Yeah. It's Slade and PJ. We have the Bush League Mud Show. Like and subscribe and listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts here at Dizzy Course Studios in the dungeon. This is all with the moving and shaking and popping the company is doing, dude. This has caused the WWE Draft to be delayed.
Thank God.
Yeah, it was previously reported that the draft was going to be kicked off on the August 30th episode of Monday Night Raw and continue with that week's Friday Night SmackDown, which falls on, I believe, September 3rd.
Okay.
That's been pushed back. Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men Pro Wrestling Podcast is now reporting that he was told the WWE Draft will now be taking place on October 4th with a possible secondary date for the draft taking place on October 1st or October 8th. At this point, if you're already calling people up from NXT, really, what's the point of just having a draft at all?
Yeah, you don't.
Again, we've talked about this over the last couple of episodes. What good does it do to have a draft in which we all know as fans you're going to end up doing super shows, as they're already promoting for Madison Square Garden and maybe one more they plan on doing.
Yeah.
But you do these super shows, you do these wild card rules.
Yeah.
You still have talent crossing the lines, being on different shows over time. It doesn't do any good.
No. It doesn't.
Because they do these drafts with the ideal of giving you fresh new matches. Well, here's the problem with the fresh new matches. I just don't want to see fresh new matches just for the sake of it. I want angles. I want feuds out of it. And what happens, I think, is with the writers who try and maybe come up with angles out of this stuff, it doesn't work for the old man. So it's like, oh, well, what do we do now? We shook up these rosters and we have no place, nothing for them. Well, screw it. We'll just start blurring the lines again, having them on both shows. And then we just go through the same damn cycle every year around this time of the year.
Yeah.
We're going to do another draft. Yeah. Shake it up and give you freshmen. No. Just don't even do one at this point.
And they float the dates all over the place. You don't even know when the hell. I mean, it used to be coming out of Mania, and then they would reshuffle. Oh, we're going to shake things up. Now this one in October.
A secondary draft?
Yeah. No. What I think they should do is do a draft at the beginning of the year. And I know you're getting into Rumble and Mania season, but just do it at the beginning of the year. Start fresh like all of us do with the new year. Just start fresh, clean slate, and then people have something to look forward to, and you can actually build this damn thing.
Might actually give you exciting things to look forward to going into Mania season.
So that would be my idea. It's just, the new year and all that, that's a dead week anyways. Just do it like, during the end of December or first week of January. Do the damn draft then. Always have it in people's minds because hell, except, when they do this with NFL, they do it with NBA, they do it with everything except when we have COVID, but you always know when the damn draft is. It's in the spring, usually the last week of April for NFL. Usually with NBA, it's in June. Obviously, this year, it's at the end of July. We know when those drafts are, and they're trying to, make this like those drafts. Then set the damn date where it's convenient, where everyone knows where it is.
Here's the issue with the WWE Draft that I don't think in the beginning, it was something new and different, and we looked forward to it to a degree. Then it wore off when you start to compare it to actual pro sports.
Yes. Well, they wanted to.
It
That's the
doesn't
thing.
compare, and it never will. Here's why. You want to know why we look forward to the draft every single year. Number one, these are people we absolutely have not seen at that pro level before.
You're correct. Yep.
Okay, we follow them through college or through amateur, whatever, and we've never seen them ever touch pro soil.
Yes.
Here's another problem for WWE. You only have so many brands.
Yes,
you
you
get
do.
30 individual organizations on average per league for these drafts.
Yes.
So it's 30 different teams, in some cases the NFL 32, but for the most part 30 different organizations, 30 different mindsets, 30 different strategies, 30 different this, that, and the others in terms of building a team. And it intrigues you, and it
Yes.
gets
Yes,
you
it
to
does.
follow along to see, okay, in 5 years, how did these drafts add up for these teams? And you can look back and we don't look back at WWE drafts from fucking 2 years, 5
No.
years, 10 years. Well, maybe 10 years ago, there might be some moments where we're like, okay, yeah, that time, that night that SmackDown drafted John Cena. Okay, I remember that when they got in Cena and Orton or whatever. And then before the end of the night,
Taker
they
went from Raw to SmackDown. I remember that one.
and there's the reaction in the room
Yes.
of everyone being scared that Taker was going to tear shit up because he had just been, stuff like, okay, so
Yeah.
you can get, but in terms of, I mean, if you're just going to do this whole thing and recycle it every year in which you're just swapping TV shows,
It don't
doesn't-
mean shit.
It doesn't mean anything.
No.
Unless
Yeah.
you get NXT involved. If you want
I
people
like your
to stop,
idea here. Like you were saying with the pro sports, people that you don't recognize.
they've never touched pro soil.
So if we throw the NXT thing in it, and maybe we just leave it at the NXT, and they just draft them, and they don't have to necessarily bring them up right away, but they have the rights for like a year, and you could see them whenever you want. They could pop up on those shows.
Absolutely.
Maybe something like that. I mean, I didn't want to cut you off there,
No,
but I
no.
think that's what you were going towards.
You could do that, or you could just add them as a brand in the draft, and they could
they should,
draft
yes.
main talent.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. They have been saying NXT it's not developmental. Well, prove it.
Yeah,
Prove it.
you'll have to prove it now.
Fucking prove it.
Yes.
Because and I feel bad, we do these podcast episodes, and every now and again we may do an NXT. I don't think we've done an NXT review in some time, but you want to know partly why? Because you're already having us devote so much time into your main television programs.
Yeah.
We're still trying to keep up with AEW and everything else going on
Yes.
in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. And you treat it like a developmental show.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you don't want people to look at it anymore as developmental and you want it to just be its own brand, okay, then allow them to also be in the draft and draft people off the main roster as well.
That would probably work the
Now,
best.
you could maybe do it where certain individuals would be protected.
Well, yeah, you could do it like a keeper draft or anything like fantasy football
Main
players
roster,
do.
so
This guy you can't touch,
you
but
can
he's yeah.
Right. You can't draft Randy Orton,
Yes.
but you could draft Riddle. Or you could draft, and NXT, their strategy. Well, we're going to draft participants who maybe aren't getting as much television time that we see big things for,
Or that we've had already down
we've
here,
already had-
proven talents down here.
Yeah.
You went up there, you didn't do shit with them, but down here we know what to do with them.
Yeah. So that's just my thoughts on it. Bray Wyatt, there was a sighting of him. It was on Twitter, though. It was through social media. He's been off TV since WrestleMania 37. He had his loss to Randy Orton. And PW Insider is noting that wants to be known that Wyatt has been purposely kept off for unknown reasons, but it's not because he doesn't have any heat with the company. You know what I think it was? They realized, well, boy, we fucked this up too.
Yeah.
They were like-
they overused it.
They
big
overused
time.
it.
They
big time.
overused it. I won't say they fucked it up to the extent where they did with him before.
They start having him lose a little
But
bit
they
too much.
started,
How many
yes.
times did we see The Fiend lose? 3, 4, maybe 5 times, almost half a dozen times?
Yes, the gimmick was starting to lose
It was
its
something
magic. Yes.
that he should not have been getting losses as The Fiend, at least for the first couple of years, I thought.
Well, that's where the Goldberg thing fucked it all up. Because Goldberg argued, I think Goldberg was the first guy to beat him.
He was, and I don't think.
I mean, that's
I don't think
screwed it up.
Goldberg understood that the crowd
No.
actually liked The Fiend.
Yes. Exactly. That's where when he went to the boss and said, "Oh, the superheroes got to win." They love cheering for superheroes.
And they did that match over there, Sweet Sounding Money.
They
did that on purpose because they know Goldberg would have been booed out of the building had they have done that match, and the Fiend would have lost on American soil.
Yes. I mean, these are people that still think the Ultimate Warrior and Andre the Giant are going to have a match next year in the main event. We can't prop them up, folks. I'm sorry. They're still not with us.
The report added that Wyatt being advertised for future episodes of Raw, which I did notice that. That's an indication that there is plans for him to maybe be at SummerSlam.
Okay. I'd still rather keep him off for a while.
Yeah. He had engaged with some fans. How this came about, some fans basically were on Twitter and talking about professing how much they miss him, and he just responded with mutual comments. So there you go. Yeah. That was your sighting for Bray Wyatt. The Rock versus Reigns thing for WrestleMania for next year. This is also brewing up as well. Well, in an effort to protect The Rock and influence him to have a WrestleMania match, WWE right now is reportedly considering an option that would see him compete in a tag team match. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, one idea that's being discussed would be The Rock teaming with either Jimmy or Jey Uso against Reigns and the other Uso brother at WrestleMania 38 in the Dallas area. So we are still apparently in the area where they are thinking about one brother turning on the other.
Yeah, which I guess would make sense.
That seems to be almost a guarantee at this point, then, that the brothers are going to split.
But they got to win the gold. I mean,
they got to win the gold first.
Yeah, we'll get to that here. But, yeah, I mean, that's coming up this Sunday. So I would have to imagine that.
So here's the thing about The Rock. His last actual full-length match, because we don't count the Eric Rowan one that lasted
that does not
a couple of seconds.
No.
So the last real match,
what was seen
8 years ago, WrestleMania 29, and The Rock got hurt in that match. He had surgery, and that delayed scheduling for his filming.
Yes,
after already freeing up time from filming to be a part of that.
Yeah.
He was about 40, 41 then. Now he's 49. Okay, so that's 8 years. He's in tip-top shape.
Yeah, he is.
He's a monster, but he hasn't taken bumps.
And there's a difference between great shape and ring shape.
Ring shape. Yeah. So he hasn't done it in 8 years. So, he's far removed from his last match. And he's just purely focused on the Hollywood career now. He doesn't want to continue to mess that up.
No. And I could see that probably pressure too from the studios. They're like, or producers too. Well, he's got his own production company, but I mean,
the tag match would be a good way to protect him from injury. He doesn't have to work a full length 20+ minute match without, any help. But if you could only, my question to you guys, if you could only get The Rock to come back for just a tag team match, would you do it? Is it worth it? Would the fans want it?
Yes, they would. They want anything Rock. And with the family,
even
the tag team match, because
you have the family done.
You are correct. You are building this right because you have the family angle involved. If it was just a thrown random match, no, I mean, The Rock would get a pop, but it was just like, well, but they're doing a great job telling the story with the family. And if one family member is on his side and we're trying to get the sense nut beaten into fucking Roman. Dude, stop this horse shit. You're fucking our family up. I do like it. The only tag team match, I think, when you threw it together that worked at Mania before, it was Angle, Rousey, and Triple H and McMahon, where, again, they had a little history from the Mania before, but why the hell Angle was in that match? It was just like, hey, you're in there. But they did a hell of a job when that match was on. I mean, that was damn near one of the best tag team Mania matches I think I've seen. And so, I mean,
could make the argument that might have been the greatest
debut too. I mean, with Rousey in it, it was fantastic.
And it was old school, the way the psychology, the way they worked that thing. And clearly Triple H and Angle put that thing together.
Yes.
And the ladies did a hell of a job of playing their part. And I don't want to disrespect Stephanie because she's been around the business a long time, and she went back into old school Steph and just being just the heel that she is when she needs to be.
So what I'm saying is, that tag team, I mean, that match wasn't the main event, but I'm just saying it did hell of a job, I think, the way they're building the program. As a tag team match, we want the one-off with Rock and Reigns, but I can live with the tag team match.
Pay raises, promotions for the employees. Yeah.
Well, we're drawing gates now, so I guess.
Yeah, apparently morale when the company was in the shitter. Yeah, company officials held an all hands on deck. They like to use that term a lot. All hands on deck. They had an all hands on deck meeting with employees earlier in the week, according to PW Insider. The biggest news coming out of the meeting is that WWE has reinstated promotions and pay raises for employees after a freeze was placed earlier this year. It's reported back in February that many of the employees, not wrestlers or talent, were really upset. Morale was really low after a meeting was held to announce the company would not be providing promotions, bonuses, or pay raises moving forward. What do they expect? They didn't have any live crowds.
No, they had nothing coming in. I mean, the TV money, everyone could just say, well, they're getting $1 billion from Fox, $1 billion from Peacock and all that. But you're still going to need some money coming in. That's only going to go so far because it's not $1 billion a year. It's a 4 year. You're only getting this much this year.
Well, also, it's if we're still continuing without live crowds generating residual income for the company, if we just give everyone bonuses and pay raises, then we can't continue to get on these earnings calls and say that we're at our record earnings. We can't say that.
No. Yeah.
With Kevin Hart placards in the
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like I have said on this podcast before, when I take the family to a damn live show, I'm dropping 100 to 150 at the damn merch table. They're going to be getting that money now too, so not from me.
The meeting
I'm just saying that money's going to be coming back.
The meeting in February reportedly involved employees from production, the WWE offices, and other departments, but as I mentioned before, not the wrestlers or other talent. So the decision was made out of financial prudence stemming from the fourth quarter and the full year of 2020 earnings report that was released in February, but the new verbiage issued in the verbiage issued in February indicated WWE employees would still be eligible to receive performance-based bonuses depending on how they were doing with their job.
So no Jelly of the Month Club this year for that Christmas bonus. They're actually going to get something.
It would prevent employees from being given promotions and official pay raises. Yeah, WWE is scheduled to report its quarter 2 financial results for the year of 2021 on Thursday, July 29th. So right around the corner after the close of the market. And this new report could be a positive sign. So it was indicated at that meeting that a large part of the WWE staff will be receiving those pay raises in the coming days and weeks.
Plus, you got to remember quarter 2 Mania. They'll be getting that Mania money from that in that report.
Disney, Marvel, they are currently right now a little concerned about our boy Dave Batista with his social media activities. Yeah, Batista. So, Dave Batista, I will say, he is a guy, he's been
he's outspoken.
He's been a ninja in terms of, I think more and more people are starting to learn who this guy is. But, never at any point was Dave Batista ever the guy in the company.
No.
He was a guy who was part of the transitioning between the Ruthless Aggression era into the TV PG. Mm-hmm. He wasn't feeling the PG.
No.
And he was a guy that kind of knew he was going to have a shorter span in the business because he got started late.
Yeah.
Gambled, betted on himself, went to Hollywood.
You won.
Doing the movies, the Guardians of the Galaxy,
the James Bond stuff,
Blade Runner. So, and because of being Guardians of the Galaxy, being a part of that Marvel universe, made appearance.
Yep.
Infinity War. So he's done very well. Anyways, Some of that success may have come out through his social media activity, and it has some people concerned about him. Reported by a close insider, Marvel was reportedly worried about Batista's social media behavior after some tweets and retweets that he has made, mainly over politics.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go.
Now I decided I'm not going to blurt out. I'm not going to put out, some of these tweets verbatim as far as what he was talking about, but these are directed at, politicians and certain policies and certain things that have been done, and Dave Batista's let it be known how he feels about it. So for me, this really shouldn't come as a surprise that people there are concerned about his social media activity, because we've seen people over the last year or so reprimanded, even worse, terminated from roles.
Gina Carano, I'm going to say it
Absolutely.
again, from The Mandalorian, one of the most popular. It's Disney. Yeah, we could do a whole podcast on this.
Yeah, so, you've got Hollywood and you've got the executives that run this thing. They're becoming more and more vocal about what the people they have on payroll are saying on social media, as seen by the John Cena stuff with the apology to China.
Yes. Well, they probably saw that and they're like, yeah, we got to start. Plus, too, though.
So now that's
non-political.
Yeah.
He has also said, I'm done playing. He's done with Guardians. He's not going to play the character anymore.
Now, I don't buy that. I don't believe that.
He said that, and then James Gunn came on. Now, come on. There's no other Drax that we're going to have.
That's leverage. You just gave more leverage.
But he's out there, and if they have storylines, I could see the MCU, if they've got, storylines that they've got with Drax, and all of a sudden this guy say, I ain't playing him anymore.
This is Marvel Disney money.
Well, I mean,
there's no way WWE can pay him.
No, but he's... with,
I know it's not about the money.
With the wardrobe and the makeup and doing all that and how many hours to get into that, so he could be getting sick and tired of that. So
Jesus, people are lining up like heavy-duty Oscar-winning actors and actresses are lining up to do this goddamn thing, and he's doing this. Sorry, that's just my little take.
Well, no, you're good. He's now in the sights of the executives for Marvel, and those tweets... when you're there are certain things I'm sure if they don't mind lengthening the leash on with their employees, but
Chris Evans can get away with this. Robert Downey Jr. can say some stuff, but I'm not saying they have, but I'm just saying your certain characters probably get a little more leeway.
Yeah.
But
when you're talking about the individuals that pay your salary, if they're not feeling, again, the John Cena thing with China.
I think that's probably
John
what
Cena, in a lot of people's minds, almost unanimously, everyone's mind, didn't do anything wrong. It was an honest mistake. It was an honest boo-boo. And he had to apologize because China's a huge part of the movie industry internationally.
They make more money. Yeah. From what I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they actually China is the market.
Well, they're bankrolling a lot of these production companies too. Yeah. So I think with F9, I think that was a big issue there with that in the studio.
For some, they wouldn't probably have a problem with, in terms of celebrities sharing their views on life, politics, and other matters. It just seems that the big uncomfortable area for them is when you're intertwining that into the politics. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing with the company.
Seems to be the poison. Just hovering and waiting. Well, let me ask you a hypothetical question. Not to train wreck the show.
No, you're good.
But I'm saying, okay, Bush League Mud Show. Suddenly, you guys get sponsored by somebody huge, like I don't know, pick a brand, and you don't get much bigger than Disney Marvel. Okay.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, look, and you guys go off on a tangent, and they go,
why are you pointing at me?
No. And would you guys stop? This is a pretty honest show. You guys are just hanging out. You guys do whatever. Would you stop and be honest?
I would stop.
Yeah.
Without a
doubt.
How
how much are we getting?
Well, that's
what are we getting?
That's just it.
What are we getting?
Right there. You just answered the question.
Do I got tickets to Disney coming? Because I can't take the damn family down there for that.
No, you'd be able to buy Disney at this point.
All right. Well, then we're all good. I love Mickey Mouse.
But you tweet.
Well, I ain't going to tweet that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But that's what's going on here. And this
Yeah.
is happening again and again.
But again, we're not celebrities that already have millions rolling in.
Pretend you are.
Shit.
We switch over to AEW. They're New York City.
Listen to that transition.
It's a Bush League Mud Show. Slade PJ, producer Nate. AEW, switch our attention to them. Their New York City show is said to have nearly sold out the first day of tickets. Says that the New York City episode of Dynamite, which is going to be at Arthur Ashe Stadium, quite successful, dude. PW Insider reporting that the company sold a huge amount of tickets. No word if they bought their own tickets. I'm not trying to throw out any accusations.
Well,
but
did you hear too?
companies have been known to
Yeah.
do this over the years,
Yeah.
buy their own tickets and sell out. So say that they could sell out. But anyways, let me get this out real quick.
Yes,
PWI
yes.
Insider reports that the company sold a huge amount of tickets in their first days with both AEW and at USTA Arthur Ashe Stadium. Both very happy with the results. Go ahead.
So, did you hear, though, the ad buy Mr. Khan had placed on a certain New York sports talk station, and the ads are running constantly.
Okay, where's this?
WFAN,
Okay.
which he also was on to make the announcement.
Okay.
They are running ads just constant right now on, that the show is coming up.
Okay.
How many tickets are we talking about again? 22,000 for that stadium?
Well, 17.
17,000.
Now, if they need to,
But
they
again,
can expand. But
17,000.
right now, okay.
In New York City, the population that I'm looking at here of $8.419 million. If they couldn't get 17,000 goddamn people in that stadium, shut her down. You have to you would have to sell out. For people blowing their mind, I've been reading it. And I'm not saying this about you, but I'm reading all these insiders just like, oh my God, they're just selling these tickets at breakneck speed. No shit. You are dealing with market number one. If you didn't, there would be a problem. Now, there's a big difference between
They have
Arthur
fans
Ashe.
that are willing to travel.
Yes, there's a big difference between Arthur Ashe Stadium and MSG. I don't know why people are, well, WWE must be just going ballistic because these ticket sales. Why? These tickets are not MSG price tickets. They're different price points. And again, you are dealing with New York City. If you did not sell out here, I would be very concerned for AEW. So it's a very good sign that, yes, they are selling the tickets. And that's very good for the wrestling business as a whole. That, yes, that you're getting another wrestling business into the number one territory that the other guys have been running. But for people to be just losing their shit about this is the one thing that's been driving me nuts this week. It's like they should be doing this, and it's great that they're doing this. I don't know why they're making a huge deal out of it.
I think the ideal of them being in New York, and when you talk pro wrestling and you talk New York, you think the McMahons. Mm-hmm. Even though the headquarters is in Stamford. Stamford's about 45 minutes from New York City.
Yeah.
But that's their backyard.
Yeah.
So I think that is a story in itself that people want to spin the ideal that Tony Khan and AEW are coming to New York City, or they're coming to that area.
Yeah.
And they're going to be more, I believe Arthur Ashe Stadium is actually more by City Field where the Mets are.
Yes, it is. It's
like
out
over
there.
by Flushing Metals. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Dave Meltzer brought up that Vince McMahon's, how the New York ticket sales are going, it's likely going to, quote, hit him hard.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Remember a couple years ago, ROH and New Japan sold out MSG during Mania weekend. Did Vince lose his shit?
Is
No.
that the G1 Super Show?
Yes.
Okay.
The same weekend, they sold out on MSG. Did the company go belly up? No, they held Mania the next night and made a shit ton of money. I mean, really?
I'm sure Vince is very aware.
This is wrestling media angles. That's what it is.
I'm sure
writer
Vince
angles.
knows that they're coming. Vince probably has
Doesn't give a
plans to
shit.
soup up the cards.
Yeah.
They're also going to be doing around that time, I want to say, I think September 10th is the MSG Super Show.
Yes, they're doing it. They're bringing all the big guns out. And why not? It's the first live show at MSG. I would expect that even if AEW wasn't running there. I seriously would. You're going in market number one. You want to have your biggest show. Plus, they're doing a SmackDown there. Yeah. So, I mean, It just makes sense. Your number one home market, you're going to bring the big guns out anyways. Not just because these guys are doing a show another week and a half out at the Arthur Ashe Stadium, and we've got to lose our shit over it.
It's expected that AEW is going to continue to open up the seats as needed until production is finalized. The expectation is that they will sell around about 30,000 tickets.
Okay,
total when
that'd
it's
be
all
awesome.
said and done.
Yeah.
And I think that's great for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's between the show and that show and the September 15th show they're going to be doing at the Prudential Center in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
So, yeah, 17,000 fans. That it's configured for 17,000 at Arthur Ashe Stadium, but they could open it up for more fans if they need to.
And hopefully they do. I mean, that's the thing. It's great to see this. It really is. But for them to make an angle of
The
it on
story
Twitter
here
it's like,
is
what the
because,
fuck?
and I think you bring up a good point of the fact that it's different price points, because the big angle that people have been taking out of this is that AEW, they're in Vince's backyard.
Yeah.
And they're selling tickets more rapidly.
Yeah.
Because apparently the WWE shows the tickets are not going that fast.
Well, no, because the prices, it's different. I think the AEW prices, I mean, you can get them very affordable. Where we know for WWE shows, they have the tiered pricing. And I'm not saying AEW doesn't have that for upfront and all that.
No, but Madison Square Garden, I would imagine, would not
You're paying-
allow Vince to charge that price point to hold an event there.
And that MSG show will be full crowd. Especially with the SmackDown aspect to it too. That's going to be a full crowd show. I'm not going to worry about it that they're not sold out right now.
Well, how about this? Is it also because there's just more buzz? Between the two companies, there's just more buzz with AEW right now.
Well, right now, yeah.
Even with WWE being back with live crowds, there's not as much buzz.
And they're teasing another big surprise for this show at Arthur Ashe. I don't know if, I mean, when they've teased big surprises, they've not been big surprises. So I don't know if they've got something up their sleeve this time that will actually be a surprise or not. But again, it might be another New York guy that shows up.
What's not a surprise is AEW getting that second national TV show, Rampage. This has been known for the last almost couple of months. Well, they dropped the official trailer for Rampage earlier in the week that promises less distraction and more action. So that tells me this is going to be more like the YouTube shows, because they don't do any glitz and glamorous type stuff on there. I mean, there's really
they do. They have pyro introductions.
Yeah, but that's not
that's
nothing.
every damn.
But it's just match after match after match, and people just coming out for a match.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyways, the promotional video featured some of the biggest stars in their company. Kenny Omega's in it, Dr. Britt Baker. You've got the Young Bucks. You've got Miro, the current TNT champ, and then some of the up and coming, some of their talent. They're homegrown, even though technically they're not homegrown AEW. But you know, part of the newer generation. They've got Darby Allin, MJF. Jericho Sting's in it, so you got a couple legends. Jade Cargill is in this. Orange Cassidy. So they've got a video that is promoting what about Rampage, which is going to be on TNT for the time being, along with Dynamite the rest of the tenure until they both move to TBS early next year. But, right around the corner. It's less than a month. August 13th, Friday night.
You'll be in Pittsburgh.
Rampage will be here.
Yeah.
We'll be in Pittsburgh, so Britt Baker will get probably the biggest pop of the night.
And we were wondering, too, are they splitting rosters for this or not? And apparently to the promo, no. Everyone looks like they're going to be bouncing back and forth from show to show.
Which makes you wonder, how is this going to be any different from WCW Thunder from back in the day?
Yeah.
Is this going to be Thunder?
Thunder 2.0, it could be.
And how long are they going to stay in the Friday night slot?
Well,
now,
as we always heard about the Thunder thing, though, too, that was supposed to be Bischoff wanted maybe Nitro to be the NWO show, and then the Thunder was going to be more the WCW show. I mean, that's how that all conspired NWO is really over. Maybe we just have a show for them, and then we have the WCW show. Here's the thing, though, with the AEW. I don't know. They don't have a faction that's over. I mean, sorry, folks. The Elite is not as big as NWO.
You don't have a divided roster like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying
you to do that.
For that, I think they have to bounce guys back and forth right now because they don't have that divide for the contract. So that's with the Thunder, I could see it as Thunder 2.0 because they don't have the talent right now in place to just have this. I mean, they have a lot of guys signed, but they don't have a lot of exposure on TV. And I think if you just throw guys that nobody knows about on TV, that ain't going to do good.
Growing up, man, this is something I would always do. If I would get bored and I didn't feel like playing through an entire season, I would put it on simulation.
Simulate that, yeah.
I would simulate it, man. I would play GM on my sports games
Yep.
and simulate and see how the roster I put together did.
Oh, yeah, I did
They
that.
were usually the
Yes,
shits.
Exactly.
Usually the shits.
Yeah.
And I always wanted the same type of thing when it came to a wrestling game.
Yeah.
Allow me to be the owner or the promoter or the GM or whatever, and let me build a roster and let me book a card and let me see if I can draw money.
Yeah.
Thanks to AEW, you can do that now.
All right, that sounds good.
The Elite General Manager game got released.
All right.
Is AEW's officially licensed fantasy booking game that wrestling fans have been eagerly waiting for since it was first announced almost a year ago, about November of 2020. It's now available worldwide to download and play on both Apple and Android. I downloaded it to my phone.
Okay.
I've yet to play it.
No review yet. Okay.
Yes, I've.
All right. Next week, we are going to need a review on that game.
How about I read you some reviews?
Well,
So far, it's gotten a 3.6 out of 5 on the rating. This is on the
Okay.
Google Play Market. Anyways, let me go break it down a little bit more into what you can do in this. So, AEW Elite GM, players assume the role of the newest general manager of AEW Dynamite, can draft a roster of wrestlers, build matches, you can run the show to generate revenue, and basically appeal to the fans, which is the foundation of pro wrestling. So every week, you got to build, book, and sell the most entertaining AEW shows possible, or the game's over.
it's just over after that. 1 week, you can be done.
Yeah, you don't get relieved of your duties. It's just game over. Like, you don't even get to... There's no chance for retribution whatsoever.
Who the hell fires you? Does Sean come out there and said, you're out of here? We're moving to London. Or, I mean, what the hell do they do?
I would imagine because you're the general manager. You're not the owner. So I would imagine it's Khan. So Khan, he
Papa
in
Khan.
the game.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Elite GM is also going to offer players the ability to play head-to-head competitively with other managers around the world as well and determine who can run the best AEW Dynamite show and claim the title of Elite General Manager. Here's what I'm going to get out of this. There's going to be somebody, with all due respect to Tony Khan and AEW, there's going to be somebody who's going to have this game, that's going to play it, and it's going to master it, and they're probably going to book better fucking cards than what we see sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending
and
on the
cut
week
down on the
AEW.
run-ins every damn match. Yes. Run-in option, no decline.
So as I mentioned before, so far the rating on the Google market is a 3.6 out of 5.
Okay.
And we've got some 5s, we got some 4s, we got quite a bit of 3s, we got some 2s, so we got some 1. Paul M. here
All right.
says of the game. This was on the 15th of July. Paul M. gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Paul says that it has, quote, some nice features. Unfortunately, this game doesn't allow you to book outcomes of matches, rendering it pointless. It's advertised a general manager game, but it is not. You cannot craft storylines or push talent when you don't know who's going to win and how. Outcomes are stat-based, but many bouts are evenly matched, and upset wins aren't that rare. Nearly all matches end with a clean pin. Middle of the ring, unlike a real show, disappointing. Do not recommend for casual fans or smart marks.
He's bitching about how we used to watch wrestling with a clean win. Oh, my God. This is where we are.
Chucky Beggs gave it a 4 out of 5 stars.
All right, Chucky, here we go.
Chucky said 4 stars. Here's how you can improve. Number 1, endless mode needs fight records on the player cards. Number 2,
Oh, shit, no, not that.
the ranking system.
Oh, God.
Number
Yeah.
2, Chucky says it also needs the top 5 power rankings.
Oh, no, it doesn't, Chucky, no.
It doesn't feel like an authentic AEW GM experience without these two things.
What?
Number 3, Endless Mode needs championship match booking options, and titles need to be able to change hands depending on championship match outcomes. Number 4, damn, Chucky, you got a lot for giving it a damn 4 stars.
Yes.
Gave it a 4 stars, and he gave a top 5 of what's wrong with the damn
shit
thing.
out of it, yeah.
Number 4, title history for Endless Mode. Number 5, needs to have a week-by-week, month-by-month, year-by-year calendar set up with weekly shows and pay-per-view.
Chucky, how much damn time do you have to play this thing? Shit. I mean, I know we're simulating the outcomes, but my God, just to simulate the damn thing. I mean, when you simulate, you want it to go quick. You don't want to set up 18 other damn steps before you press that button. Damn, Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky gave it a 4 out of 5, but boy, did he really, all right, Grady Rianto gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Says, can't get past the tutorial.
Oh, shit.
The arrows point to a box of nothing in the upper left corner of the screen.
Grady, restart your phone.
After the tag team tutorial part, specifically when player were going to open chest, but the tutorial guy's still talking. Match looks way too stiff, too. No finisher or signature moves, all the same moves, just no character from the wrestler.
So apparently you can watch the matches when you simulate it. I'm having a hard time because when you simulate, usually when the modes we talk about,
You just want the results.
you just see the results. You don't watch the damn match. So apparently he's doing it wrong.
Well, you know when I would
must
actually
be
sit
going
there and simulate and watch a full game? When I was a kid and I didn't have anything else to fucking do.
Yeah, we got shit to do. We can't just sit here. These guys having these reviews. Well, it's got to have an 18-hour fucking mode before I can press simulate. No, we want this shit banged out so then we can know what we got to do.
Specialist K. I'm going to give a couple more. Specialist K gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Specialist K says the first 20 minutes are confusing because you sign people up and they disappear from your roster. The career mode you start in is really short, just a handful of minutes.
Well, that's just like AEW signing guys for 5 matches. I mean, what the hell did you expect? Yeah, that's an option.
You're not really playing it until you get into the endless mode, so don't take the early minutes too seriously. It's buggy, but it's been a day. Unfortunately, the game isn't fun. This should have been the priority.
Okay.
Let me give you a 1.5 out of 5.
Okay,
This
here
is
we
from
go.
Jerry Proutluck, who says this is a fun and exciting game.
All right.
There are a few issues. Well, then it doesn't deserve a 5. There are a few issues. Singles matches always lose viewers. And
Yes, welcome to the business.
after several weeks playing in endless mode, you always have to have a card with either triple threat, 4-way, or higher matches in order to make money and draw people.
Because that's AEW, and then you pick your stipulation of strap matches and other shit.
Not very realistic that way. On the good side, I really do enjoy the huge roster of wrestlers. I like how their contracts come and go in staggering length. I like that the factions are also included in the game.
All right.
I need a 1 star here. Let's go
Yeah,
here. Here we go. Here's a 1 star from Holly Pala. The game is unfortunately very shallow. The tutorial is terrible. Not making it clear when you go between the tutorial stuff and actually running with your own resources. And there's no feeling of actually running shows, just boosting some arbitrary numbers for the sake of it.
Wow. Okay, we're getting deep into that.
AW ended up revealing the latest slate of action figures from their unmatched line. Some of the added individuals to this, DMD, Dr. Britt Baker.
Okay.
She should have already had her own.
Yeah, the first heel, yeah.
Kenny Omega and many more, such as, and I know you're going to ask about Brandy, Pregnant Brandy.
Yeah, where's the pregnant?
She is not a
pregnant
part of the
Brandy?
line.
No.
Even though I'm sure Pregnant Brandy, with baby included, would
Yes.
probably be the biggest selling action figure. in
Have
the
a little
company.
switch on the back and it pops out. I mean, there you go.
Yeah. So it's Baker, Omega, Darby Allin. There's 2 new Darby Allins that are a part of this line. One
That
that
makes
comes
sense.
with a skateboard.
What about Sting? Is there still not a Sting one?
I think they already was Sting in a line that they released not too long ago.
He might have been, yeah. I was just like, he's got to have one by now.
Well, if you don't have one already, Dustin Rhodes get out there and get your Dustin Rhodes action figure.
Okay.
Miro.
Makes sense.
And this was, I thought, was pretty cool. Remember the LJN action figures back in the day?
Yes.
The rubbery?
The rubber ones, yes.
Yeah, there's a Cody Rhodes LJN AEW action figure.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was actually cool.
Just his, though?
Just his so far is going to be an LJN.
They got to make more. I mean, that's the thing. When you bought the figures, you got to have the good guy go against the bad guy.
Well, more will be made eventually soon,
Okay.
I'm sure.
All right.
MJF's got to have a LJN
Definitely.
at some point.
He's got to be on there. Jericho would have to get an LJN.
Yeah. So
I mean, he would have to.
And then for AEW, a signing that was announced this week that threw PJ for a loop.
Yeah.
Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison both had their signings announced by the company. That was earlier in the week on Monday. So
Yeah.
you were saying that you thought they were already signed. And
Yeah, I was pretty sure, especially Pillman Jr. I thought he was signed earlier in the year because I think OVW, he was their champion there or something like that, but he was like working dates or something, or maybe it was a year, maybe it was a while ago that he was doing dates or something like that. And then they said, well, he won't be appearing and all this stuff. And then I'm like, okay, well, obviously he's signed, right?
Well, so what happened here is that they must have definitely wanted to sign him as a pair. And Garrison probably didn't want to sign without Pillman. Maybe Pillman was the drawing of the two, and they want to sign him as a pair that way. But Pillman originally, he had a deal with MLW.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah.
He had an older MLW deal that was signed prior to AEW.
Okay.
So there was nothing in his contract that prevented him from working for AEW. It is believed that they have now officially announced the signing of Pillman Jr. because his MLW contract expired.
But they already announced that he wasn't going to be making any more dates and things like that way before when he first appeared on AEW. Was the confusing thing.
Basically, Pillman had a deal that was very similar to MJF's MLW deal when he signed with AEW. So
but you could appear on TV for a whole 8 months and okay.
There you go. That's our show for this week. Oh, no. We had a Money in the Bank quick rundown preview, didn't we?
Yeah, we can do that quick.
Yeah, so Money in the Bank 2021. This is going to be going on tomorrow. Let's break down some quick matches here. We got all the matches. We'll rapid fire them. Raw Tag Team Championship match between the champs, AJ Styles and Omos, versus the Viking Raiders.
I think because your lack of singles competitors now on that show, they might have to drop those titles to Viking Raiders.
You think so?
I think so. Even though you don't want the Omos Styles turn yet, they need those individual single stars right now. They are hurting. So I think they got to do something with that.
Well, I think that Vince definitely does have some plans for Omos.
Yes, big time.
He's a 7 foot. He's a big guy. And I think right now, I don't think that they deem him anywhere near ready. In order to take the tag belts off the two of Styles and Omos would basically kind of signal that you need to split them up soon. And I don't think they're ready for Omos yet to be out on his own. Styles still a top guy in the company, whether he's a singles or tag team guy. And I think they want to continue to protect Omos. So I think these guys are going to continue to keep those belts a little bit longer.
Okay.
That's just me.
Yeah. No, I could see it. I could see it both ways.
Raw Women's Championship match that no one's excited for. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
It's a shame. This should be the SummerSlam match, and they're just killing it now. I would have to go with Ripley.
I got to go with Ripley, too. If you change the belt, if Flair was to win, the boos in that building.
Yeah.
And again, it's not anything to speak of Charlotte's talent.
No, because she's been doing a pretty damn good heel
good.
run here. Yeah.
She is good. I think fans feel that it is would you call it the Reigns effect?
Yes, it would.
Of just being constantly shoved down people's throats and
always
just
in the title picture.
Always in it. Yeah, okay. So, I just think with fans in attendance, live attendance, they're just gonna boo her out of the building. So Yeah, this might be the toughest one to call on the card for Money in the Bank. I think this is a 50-50. It could go either way, but you did just recently call Ripley. I think it's a little too early to already start beating her and taking straps off her. I think you got to prepare the next opponent for Rhea Ripley to face off with.
Yeah.
So we've got WWE champ Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. We've already talked about who's supposed to be appearing on Raw on Monday, so there's no way that Bobby Lashley is dropping the belt in this match.
I think this is a squash. I think maybe not quite Lesnar level, but I think they want the way they ended Raw in the Lashley just getting pissed off. I think he wins this in like 30 seconds. I think it's one of those.
I'm with you. I'm going to say this is a 2-minute or less squash match. I'm only going to give it about 2 or 3 minutes only because I think there will be times where Lashley will just sit there and watch Kofi suffer.
Yeah. I
don't expect much offense in it for Kofi.
They've given New Day too much, power leading into this to give, selling you the illusion that, they could maybe win this thing, but no, not the way that Lashley was pissed off at the end of Raw. Yeah, this is going to be over quick.
Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Edge. This is a match, Edge, he wants to become the champ, and he's got momentum on his side going into it. He is unlikely going to be the guy that's going to end Roman Reigns' undefeated streak, at least for the dark Roman Reigns, that is. I see Seth Rollins, whether he's not winning Money in the Bank, but I do see Seth Rollins playing a factor in this match, whether it be a run-in or just coming out and distracting Edge or whatever. This is going to be perfect to set up Edge and Rollins for SummerSlam and get Reigns away from Edge and get him prepared for Cena coming out to do the freestyle at Rolling Loud this Friday on SmackDown.
Yeah, and I think, too, with the Rollins tease of him, winning the Money in the Bank or, he would obviously, you could tease cashing it in right away, and that's why he could be a factor in this match. Obviously, Reigns winning this thing. I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll go, probably 15, 20 minutes. I think it'll be a hell of a match. But, Reigns is winning this.
The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, and the women's tag team champs, Natalya and Tamika Snuka. That's going to be in this match.
Dude, this is what we were talking about this, and this is like, where?
Bliss is your most accomplished of all the competitors.
Yeah.
I'm going to right now. I think you were originally giving Liv Morgan a little. Asuka's dead in the water right now.
Yeah, Asuka's not winning this. No, she's not winning this.
I don't see Naomi being a threat right now in the title picture. Now, Zelina Vega is my wild card.
Yeah, could be,
but
because you usually want a heel winning that suitcase
because it's a heel thing do to run out.
Yes.
And while a guy or a gal is down in pain, energy zapped, tell the ref, hey, I want to catch this in right now and continue to pound on the weak. That's a heel. Yes, it is a heel thing to do. So, I see a very weird, awkward, mysterious way they're going to have Bliss magically get the briefcase. I think this will be Bliss getting the briefcase, but you won't see her actually climb the ladder.
Damn doll is going to be up on the damn wire and release the cable so she catches it. Is that what you're telling me?
Stranger things.
They're going to try to pull this shit off in front of a live crowd. Oh, wow. She's going to come out of another 20-foot box in her entrance like at Mania. Oh, shit. She's
already won this ladder match before.
Yeah, she has. I mean, I'm with you. She's out of all those names. I thought there was going to be a mystery opponent there, but then they threw the tag team champs in there for no reason. Because remember, they had that blank spot when they took out Carmella. And now it's like, well, shit. It's got to be Bliss.
Okay. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We've got Ricochet, Riddle, John Morrison. Boy, we got all the spot guys in this match.
Yep.
Ricochet, Riddle, John Morrison, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, and also Drew McIntyre. This one's a little bit tougher.
It is.
I'm going to rule out Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any title plans for him anytime soon. I think he had his run a few years ago, and I think they, if not for the Daniel Bryan or the Kofi Kingston hijacking from a couple of years ago, maybe Owens would have had another run at it.
He could have, yeah.
Maybe
at that point, yeah.
I'm going to say here, I'm going to rule out McIntyre. I think he gets X'd out with Jinder Mahal coming out on a damn motorcycle.
With the stolen sword that he hasn't taken to the pawn shop yet.
Yeah, so that will be enough to draw Drew McIntyre out of there.
Goddamn.
Seth Rollins held it up on SmackDown to end the show on Friday. He ain't winning.
He ain't winning, yeah.
Nakamura as the king now.
No, he's already got a gimmick.
Okay.
That's what I think. Orton's showing his face in this at some point.
Okay. John Morrison and Ricochet are there to give you your
the big. You guys are taking
your big spots.
Yeah, you're taking the 20-foot falls off the ladders.
I'm gonna go with Big E in this one.
Yeah, the more that we break this down, I'm with you with Big E too.
I'm gonna go with Big E. And there is talks that when there is a draft, that Big E will probably be drafted to go back to Raw and reunite with the New Day.
Oh, no. I thought we were finally giving him that push that he need, or, giving him to that level, that championship level, getting him away from them, and now we're going to reunite him because we need to make some more money in merch. I mean, that's the only reason I could see it.
I don't know how the crowd would feel, though, if McIntyre wins that Money in the Bank. One thing about fans,
might be
fans
popular,
always there's this constant hunger for something fresh, something you haven't seen before.
Well, with Riddle, I mean, that's the thing, and then you could further that Orton Riddle thing a little bit more because
he's taking Orton's.
I mean, it's logical, but again, they don't think in logical terms. But I mean, it would further that storyline a whole lot more because, he took Randy's spot. But, hey, man, he's carrying that damn briefcase around. I mean, they could have some pretty good stuff there. But I think, Big E, has got to be the guy you got to elevate now.
Yeah. There you go. Those are our Money in the Bank predictions. This is the Bush League Mud Show. I'm Slade
PJ.
Be sure to like and subscribe and listen to us wherever you can listen to your favorite podcast. Also, check us out on social media as well. The Bush League MS Pod on Twitter and the Bush League Mud Show on Instagram. We'll holler at you next week.